God told him flip it 180. The acrobatics that I witnessed was simply amazing, cause my efforts been laid, death all around me, but I will fear no evil. I live backwards to heal my people and break the mold. It's crazy how impressions from life can leave you this flow.
Father, we thank you for this podcast. We thank you for this day. We just honor you in this moment, listening to this podcast to you. Father, we are just thankful for the people that are around. We thank you for the studio place that you have placed us in. Father, we submit ourselves to you now. We submit our voices. We submit our nerves. We submit our anxiousness. We submit every part of us to you. Father, we submit our voices to you, our hands to you, the microphones, the keyboards, even Taylor behind the camera. We submit ourselves to you, and we ask that the Holy Spirit moves through this podcast. Holy Spirit, you are welcome to speak whatever it is that you want to speak on this podcast, and we just give you glory in this moment, God, and say thank you. We thank you for letting us be a part of something that is so special that you want us to give to your people. So, Father, we thank you. We love you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Welcome back to the Beyond Boundaries podcast. I am your co-host, Justin Penny.
And I am your co-host, Aaron Anderson, for the Beyond the Boundaries podcast. Today, I'm excited because I have one of my best friends here. We have a special guest, and I think I've known him since the 4th grade. We played college basketball together as well. A couple of things about him. He was a 2011 state champion for the Evan Memorial Bulldogs. As we played college together, he was the leading scorer, if not the leading, I think the second leading scorer in the nation his senior year at Oral Roberts. Dude was selected to play in the 2020 Olympics. Like,
huge.
That's nuts. And then also he still plays basketball professionally. I think he's 8 years deep, and he's going into his 9th year when he goes back overseas in Europe. And yeah, man, I'm just excited to have him here. Without saying any other accolades, without any further ado, I want to introduce to you guys my best friend, Obi Emegano.
Yes, sir. What's going on, fellas?
What's up,
Going
brother?
on, bro?
Man,
Appreciate you getting on, man.
Nice in here. How y'all doing?
Good, man. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Said we was gonna have it on.
Yeah. Talk about getting old, man. I am getting old.
Yeah.
Hey, happy belated, by the way.
I appreciate you,
Oh, yeah.
man.
Happy belated, bro.
You're 31, getting old up there.
Yeah.
Feels crazy. I remember when I was looking at 31-year-olds, like, man, y'all are old. Now here I am.
Now look at you.
Here I am.
Still claiming young.
Feeling young.
Yeah.
Golly, I'm trying to reverse it. I talked to my brother the other day. I'm like, man, I'm trying to get younger. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Take care of the body, take care of the mind, you know.
Yeah.
No, definitely, man. And Aaron touched a lot on your sports accolades, being in the Olympics, being a leading scorer in Division I hoops, stuff like that. But, currently you have a brand called 1 by 1, right? Talk a little bit more about what is that? What's the definition behind that and what got you to that point?
Man, it's been a journey, man. 1 by 1, it really started. I kind of cultivated it and came up with it a few years ago, man, and it was just to signify really the journey that I've been through. It was, mental health is something that I'm really deep into, and went to school, graduated a degree in psychology, and just moving forward, that's kind of the space that I operate in, that I want to be in, is sports psychology. And because of my past and my history, man, I just, when I was overseas, there was times that were tough, really tough mentally. You know what I mean? Being over there, being away from your family, being in foreign country, not knowing the languages, not being able to go outside, see road signs, but you're driving, and not being able to talk to your family, your friends, missing everybody. It was just a complete culture shock. And so I kind of just started, when I started working my way out of that funk, my rookie season, disaster. I went over there, like you guys said, had a great college career, went overseas thinking I was going to be the man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, and looking back at it, right, I went to 2nd Division Italy. I was, a young cat, went to 2nd Division Italy and thinking that I was going to go and average 20 points. Got in there and I just got hit in the face.
2nd Division, that's like below, like, first, how
Yeah,
does that work?
So every league has, your neighbor next door might have played in Switzerland.
Yeah.
When a couple years, every country has different leagues, right?
There's levels to this.
There's levels to it. I'm not saying I'm just saying that's just the truth of it. There's different levels,
Facts,
right? And
facts,
I've been at many different levels,
Yeah.
right? And so I started there in second division, and that's no knock to anybody because there's great players. As you can see, I would consider myself a pretty good player that came out of that division. There's great players that come out of those divisions all
Playing
the time.
the Olympics, second division guy.
All the
first year,
time.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? There's not like, and that's one thing that also, a side note, something that I learned, getting older is like, I don't care if you're second division, third division, first division, D1, D2, NAIA, JUCO. There's people that can play everywhere. So there's no that's just a category, but doesn't speak on your level, right? So I was over in second division Italy, man, and going through it, I just couldn't get right. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't get right, man. I couldn't figure myself out.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure my life out. And struggled, got released 3 months in, got cut.
Your first year?
First year, got cut right off the bat.
Humbling.
Boom, goodbye.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around like, man, I just came from college. I was
Killing.
what?
Killing.
You know what I'm saying?
Of the killer.
And just
It's
mentally,
crazy.
man, that just crushed me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
not just getting released, but having to go and face the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Have to face your friends when you come home, and
Yeah.
you went overseas and you were averaging 24 points and you were doing this and you went to the second division and got cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
What
only
happened?
not only did you get cut, you were averaging 11 points.
Thought you was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then what it does, what it does for you mentally is like, for one, it's really humbling, but you got people in the city where you came from who looking at you now that are like, man, I knew he wasn't really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I knew he
Yeah.
wasn't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
He's
saying?
back where I'm at.
Yeah, you know what I'm
We
saying?
the
And so-
same. Yeah.
And you got to deal with that. And not only that, man, you got to deal with the life changes, the culture changes. Obviously, you move from, an amateur to getting paid to do this. And now you're getting paid and you're living this life. You come home, you don't have an income.
Yeah.
Now what's your life looking like?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And luckily, I had a little bit of financial literacy and I understood that life and, how to take care of money a little bit. But, from a lot of guys, I knew a guy who got paid, rookie season, he got paid $65,000 and went and bought a $55,000 car before he got he got his first check.
Yeah.
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 And you know what I'm saying? But those are the things that you're dealing
Yeah.
with. So for me, it was I come home, I got released, and the world just hit me, man. And so it was really humbling. I switched agents. I got my new agent. Shout out to Rob, man. I love him. He does a great job. But he just kind of took me in and said, "Look, young fella, you're gonna be a good player, but you got to understand what you're doing. You got to understand how to move.
Yeah.
You got to understand." And so he told me, like, "Look, we're gonna get you a job this next year. You're not gonna make any money. You're not gonna make much money.
Yeah.
But you got to go and prove who you are."
Right.
Yeah. And like fast forward.
Yeah.
Like fast forwarding to even from the start of your career, right? Into where you are now. I know that you had a recent injury.
Yeah.
And that's really when you like started this whole entire the mental health side of what you dealt with, like it started back then for sure. And that's when it wasn't. What year was that? Like 2000.
That was
18.
18. Yeah.
That was 18. Yeah.
So I mean, basically, like you said, that was the beginning of it. And so, like you said, so we fast forward into recently. I was in Spain. This was out of 2019, 2020. I was in 2020. I was in Spain.
Yeah.
Enjoying myself, having a great season, and killing. I was one of the leading scorers in the ACB, the top league in the world.
Yeah.
One of the leading scorers, and it's hard to say, bro, but I was miserable.
Yeah.
Unfulfilled, unhappy. You know what I'm saying? I was just not happy. Every day I'd come home. Practice was great. I had a great day. I'd come home and I'd be sitting there by myself, man, and just lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing with my life? Playing a video game? What am I doing?
With my guys.
And enjoying those times in themselves, but the bigger picture didn't really see it, right? So then I got into trying to understand, okay, what do I want to do? How do I want to impact lives, right? And so my thing was just trying to take my background, my schooling, the degree that I went and learned to apply into what I want to do after basketball. What do I want to do? What do I want to be? When this game is over, you know, how can I be at the height of my career at that time and be so miserable?
Yeah.
It's because I was unfulfilled. So it's like, what do I want to do? And I started figuring out I need to impact lives. This is the thing that I want to do. I want to change. I want to help.
Yeah.
I want to serve.
Figuring out who you are outside the sport that you've played literally all of your life.
Right. And so then I dove into myself and I started diving into practices to find myself. And that's when One by One came alive, because I realized, you know, I read a couple of my books that I got into. That's when I started getting into reading and meditating and journaling. I got into those things and I realized, man, this is it. This is the way.
This is why. That's what I gotta do.
This is the way.
Yeah.
This is how you. This is the fulfillment. This is where it is. This is where it happens.
Yeah.
And so One by One came along because I was like, I took my practices that I did every day, my journaling, I took my meditation, I took, you know, the mindful practices that I was doing to make me who I was, and cultivated into a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then made it into who I am and who I want to be.
Yeah.
Right. And so then one by One was just the name that I used, because it was like I learned that I needed to make the most of today in order to find that fulfillment. I needed to like focus on today, and not, you can't worry about tomorrow. You can't worry about, are you going to win the game? It was like a whole lifestyle switch, and that put me into the now.
Yeah.
Into being into the now.
I remember I got a phone call, like you hit me, and you know, I was really into hats at the time. I think Love Is Cool, you know, JR.
Yeah. I love the brand.
I love your brand, by the way.
Yeah.
But I was wearing his hat, you know, and I was wearing a lot of hats like then. I don't know. I'm just a hat guy.
You still wear hats now?
Still
You got a hat on right now.
Look, and as I was wearing a lot of hats, it was just like, that's you hit me. It started with the hat that had a 1 on it. You know what I'm saying? He was like, hey bro, let's start wearing this hat. Like, what you think about this hat?
Turn the hat around.
Yeah.
Like, an example. What we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just talk about, you know, the one a little bit.
So what had happened, man, it really happened. And if to understand the brand, you got to understand kind of where I came from. You know, I was making lapel pins when we was in college.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I was making these little lapel rose pins that go on suits and stuff. I can still make them,
hustle,
but
right?
but I enjoyed that stuff.
Yeah.
I enjoyed putting my hands together and creating something.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's funny, man, because you know, one of my biggest insecurities, man, was my receding hairline. That was one of my biggest insecurities. And when I learned to like really to embrace it is when I kind of took that next level, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I took the next level when I shaved my head. I was holding on to the hairline, but hairline was way back here.
I remember
holding on to the hairline, you know, because I was
you had
still
the
going to the
bald.
barber
you know
shop.
what I'm saying? And I was getting made fun of, bro, and it would just make it worse because my guys would shoot on me, be like, hey, you got your hairline way back there. And I'm like, man, you know, and we, you know, and in the community, that's how we show love. But for myself, man, it was, I would hold on to that. And you know what I'm saying? It was hard for me to like, we all get bullied and made fun of, and we all take those things and take them personally, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, man, it was difficult, bro. And so moving on to the hats, man, when I shaved the head, when I shaved my hair, I had the baldy. The baldy was smooth. I loved the baldy. I was rocking with the baldy.
Hey.
But the baldy, I can't just have the baldy out all the time.
All the time.
I needed to, you know what I'm saying? I can't have the baldy out all the time. I needed to cover the baldy.
On occasion.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man.
Yeah.
And so then I started wearing all these designer hats, wearing these hats. And they were cool. I liked the hats. You know, buying these brands that I liked. Paying $100, $150, $200 for a hat. I'm like, bro, what's going on?
Oh, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was like,
My boy wearing hats.
And at
I'm
that,
wearing
bro,
hats.
and at that, I didn't even really like love the hats that I wore. I wore it because it was big. They were big brands. I wanted to be part of the culture. I wanted to, you know what I'm saying? If there was a Louis V hat, I probably would have bought that because it's the brand. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, it's unintentionally flexing right
feel-
now.
Well, I'm just saying, but they do make hats. You know, they do make hats.
$150, $200 on a hat. I'm like, bro, I ain't never spent more than $50.
But it was getting to a point where I couldn't really, I was like, what do I do? And so took me back to what I did with the lapel pins. Long story short, I started making those lapel pins. I wanted one. I was going to the ESPYs back then. I forgot what year it was, 2017,
16 or 17. I remember that year you
going
went,
to the ESPYs, and I started seeing everybody with these pins. I'm like, where do I get these pins from? I was calling all the suit stores that I was buying a suit from. Y'all got these pins? They're like, nah, we don't have any pins. So one of my friends, it might have been you or AY. Somebody was like, man, you should make a pen. You should just make the pen.
Make a lapel pen.
And I was
for
like,
yourself.
man,
Yeah.
you playing? I think it might have been PJ actually. He was
Yeah.
like, just make a pen. I was like, what do you mean make a pen? How am I gonna make a pen? Got on the internet.
Figured it out.
Made a pen. Started making pens, selling pens. Same thing applied here with the hats, man. I want a hat. I can't figure out what hat I want to wear. Make a hat.
Yeah.
Make a hat.
Yeah.
Then the one came along because this is right when I was transitioning my number from 15. Everybody, oh, what's your name? Obi. Oh, like Obi-Wan? That's the first time I heard that, man. You know that? That's the first time.
Obi-Wan.
You know what I'm saying? I tell people like, that's the oldest joke ever. I hear that every time I introduce myself to somebody.
Oh, that's dope.
Obi-Wan,
And after,
yeah.
but after a while,
he was annoyed with it.
I was annoyed.
Then
with
I
it.
understand, but like,
But after a while,
that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, he threw you a lob.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if you can't beat them, join them.
Facts.
Right.
So after a while, I was moving into my next season, and I was like, man, what number am I gonna be? 15. I think 15 might have been taken. I was like, man, it's time to change numbers anyways. What number am I gonna be? Thinking about it.
Yeah.
1. Let's Obi-Wan 1.
Yeah.
Let's dive all into it.
Let's do it.
Let's
Yeah.
just dive
Let's
in there.
be it. Yeah.
I was moving to Spain at the time. I was up in, in my mind, up in the level of my stature, my game of who I am. It's time to turn over anew. Let's leave 15. Let's move over to 1. Let's
Yeah.
just dive all into it.
Yeah.
Dove into it, man. Obi-Wan, make the 1. I seen Chance's 3. I was like, that's cool. I like the Chance. I like the 3 he's doing. I'm like, what if I just did the 1? I haven't seen anybody else do that.
Yeah.
Put the 1 on there. Started wearing it. Got my guys going on it. Started going to when the Olympic journey came along. Got all my Olympic guys in it. We went to Olympics. Everybody rocking the 1. The 1 took off.
Yeah.
Took off.
Now that's dope, man. And I guess for me, I'm not an athlete, not a former. I like to consider myself an athlete, but I didn't play college sports.
Yeah.
I didn't go to any professional league or anything like that. So
Yeah.
like I kind of defined myself through who I knew.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like for example, 3 years ago, had I met you then,
Right.
like, oh, I know Obi, he played in the Olympics. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Or like
Yeah.
I have relationships now where I would define myself
Yeah.
based off of who I knew, what rooms I was in, how much money I was making.
So, yeah.
And over time, I kind of figured out, none of this stuff really matters.
Yeah.
And I guess for both of y'all, former athlete, current athlete,
Yeah.
when did it change for you when it was just like, okay, what is success truly? Because you can't be a professional athlete.
Right.
always.
So I always, I talk about trying to, my whole thing is tying my brand into the person that I am and want to be.
Yeah.
Tying the message into that and living it, right? Not living it, not creating a brand and just letting it be the brand, but living, like embodying what the brand is and making that me, right?
Yeah.
And so when the hats came around, that's exactly it. They all happened at the perfect time. It was like my number was changing. I was coming around. I was starting to see the fruits of my labor come because I was moving to Spain, up on my level, and I realized that it was all because I looked internally.
Yeah.
That came from me looking at myself and seeing who am I, what do I like, what do I not like, who do I want to be, where am I going? And then the impact became, well, I want to just teach people how to be, how to just get the most out of themselves.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically. How do they cultivate success within their own lives?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I did, man, and Deuce will say it to this day, man, I've had this background of this Jaguar on my
The same one.
The same Jaguar.
Since college, bro.
for over 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
As your lock screen?
Yeah, as
Yeah.
my lock screen. I've had the same lock screen and the same home screen for over
The same Jaguar.
for going on 15 years.
Yeah.
And this is my it's the Jaguar, right? So I had the Jaguar, and that for me was a symbol of who I needed to be.
Yeah.
It was my favorite animal, but it was me embodying somebody else. It was my alter ego. It was because I was like I didn't have that confidence on the court. I was good. I worked my butt off, but I didn't have the confidence that I needed. And that was my favorite animal. And it was just so majestic and aggressive and peaceful. And it embodied everything that I wanted to be. So I turned it and I put it on my lock screen so I could see it every day.
Yeah.
And so when I would be in the locker room getting ready for the game, I'm turning into the Panther. You feel what I'm saying? I see him and I'm looking at him like, all right, it's time. It's time to get there. Let's get there. You know what I'm saying? Let's mentally take it there.
Yeah, I seen that video. You might have put it on your story before we followed each other. When like you scored, got an N1 or something, and bro walked up to the pattern.
Man, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe we can put that on here or something.
And
that'd be cool. Like.
And it was just it. And I turned and I saw that, man, and I turned into that, and it was so empowering for me, just the symbol, man, and being able to see it. And so when and my home screen was also it said I am. And it was just another affirmation. So every day we carry these things everywhere. I'm on the podcast. This thing is on right here, right? And we carry it every day. So I thought to myself, how can I see what I want to be every day? How can I start cultivating? How can I start reminding myself?
How did that even, as you say, like cultivate? Like, how did that let you walk into and even define success, like for yourself? Like, if you could give me a definition of like success or a successful moment, or
success to me, and this is not the answer that people want to hear. I'll give a people answer first. I'll give the public answer. For me, success is happiness.
Yeah.
That's what success is to me, is doing what makes me happy, right?
Yeah.
But me, Obi, success to me inside is an action. It's an action, and it's paid every day. So you got to show up, and you have to be successful every day. What is being successful every day for me? It's winning the day.
Yeah.
I start with a win list. I start with 5 things that I need to do today, and then did I accomplish that? Am I cultivating success? Success is not a final journey. It's something that you're continually doing.
That's good.
And that's how I see it. You know what I'm saying?
We talked about that at the gym.
So
the win list.
And today I might be successful, tomorrow I might not be successful. So let's continue to stack these successful days, and then we can look back and look and say, well, where are we at?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Am I here? Is my family okay? Am I happy? Am I living the life that I want to live?
Yeah.
You don't get there. The only way you get there is by cultivating that success and winning each day one by one. Right? That's where it came from.
Yeah.
Winning each day. And so then you see the one on your head, you walk around. I want you to understand that one is a symbol for you. It's a symbol for self. You walk around with this one on your head, and you're like, man, you use that, treat that as the Panther.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Look in the mirror, you're confident. Okay.
For sure.
You put that hat on, I look nice. I look good. You look good. Yeah, I'm confident.
But the same, you, Aaron, Division I athlete, came back, went D2, went back D1 where y'all were teammates.
Yeah.
Now you're a father, a husband, a leader, a lot of different things you got going on now. I'm sure you went through a phase when you were like, who am I?
Yeah, for sure. It was after I got done playing college basketball.
Yeah.
And when I got done playing, I didn't continue on my career to play professionally. I had I could have. Had the opportunity, but it wasn't. I was burnt out, to be 100% honest. Like I played from a young age, so I was just like, I don't know if I want to go make this amount of money and leave. And I had my son at the time. Yeah. My son was 4 when I graduated, so it was just like I probably should stay home, and I need to figure out who I am. That was when I realized that mental health is actually a thing. And started to like really get on my journey of mental health. But it was just at that moment where I couldn't hold on to being a basketball player anymore. I had to realize that there's more to life than just basketball.
Yeah.
And you got to find another way, because it was always the dream to like go to the NBA, right? Every little kid that plays basketball grows up thinking, I'm sure you could say the same, a testament. We want to be professional athletes.
What do you want to be when
That's
you grow
how I'm
up?
going to make my money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it is. But I got to a point in life where it just wasn't what I wanted to do anymore.
Right.
And it was like, okay, what am I going to do now to support my son? I didn't have like a family. I had my mom, my brother, and my dad, immediate family. But it was like, the most important thing was my son. And what am I going to do to support that? And how am I going to grow into the person that I would even like him to be proud of?
Yeah.
And that was the moment where I had to kind of shift my focus from I'm a basketball player to like I'm a dad. I'm a popular guy because of basketball, but I have to figure out what's what. How do I get to the next level? How do I figure out life and define success even in that moment for myself? Because success was making it, right? Success was doing it big.
Success, that word.
Yeah,
man.
success was like, like it was just doing all those things, so I had to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, that success word, we all use it so freely, success. I want to be successful, and you mentioned, the people perspective is being happy, but I also feel like the people perspective is the kind of cars that they drive, the kind of house that they live in, the kind of woman or man that they're with, and all those things. And something that kind of made me understand what success for me, at least, because I don't think there's really a right or wrong answer, because we all have different definitions of that. But for me, I can't take $1 million with me when I'm gone. I can't take that AMG Mercedes. When I'm gone, it's still there.
Yeah.
So what is the legacy that we leave behind?
And that's the thing, man. People get really caught up in the word success. And success it looks very different for everyone. But the commonality with success is it needs to be from within. The definition needs to come from within. Success can't be the AMG. Success can't be, the big house. That can't be success, because that can be here today and gone tomorrow.
Not only that, but not success from within, but also, who does God want me to be?
Yeah.
What is his definition of success?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it this morning. Take the titles away, take the money away, take the cars away, take the home away.
Yeah.
Strip all that away.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Who
and
are you?
It's funny, man. People talk about success. A lot of people can't even tell you what they want. They can't tell you what they want. They can't tell you who you are, who they are.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want? And as of late, man, I've been thinking about it, and that's the hardest question. That question is so finding that answer
Things
of
change
what
so
you
much too.
And even like when you mentioned God, like following the Lord, right?
Yeah.
As we're following the Lord and as he unctions us to do things, it always is consistently changing, because he's always shaping and molding you and changing your thought process to like how you even live your life, giving you new and greater convictions on whether you should be listening to that, whether you should be seeing this, whether you should be doing this thing, and as those things are happening, as things are shifting around you, the success that you create within changes, because the relationship that you have with the Lord is always constantly growing. I love that you mentioned the Lord, because that's, in my opinion, that's what success is. It's following him in forgetting about everything else, following him in a direction that he wants you to go, following the will that God has for your life, and staying on that path no matter what you have to give up. Right? To me, that's real success. That is the success that I'm striving for as a man of God. Like I want to, with my whole heart, follow anything that he has for me, because it might hurt sometimes. It might not. Just like, it took a lot for Obi to be the basketball player that he is and have the brand that he has. I know that there were sacrifices involved in that. I know that you've experienced some type of sacrifice, like with, getting in line with what the Lord has for you.
As quick as he giveth is as quick as he take away.
Man,
I've made 6 figures before.
Yes.
I've been able to buy whatever I want to, whenever I want to. And that got stripped away. You mentioned you got cut, or you tore your ACL. You mentioned having to start over and having to be focused on being a father, and you took jobs that you really didn't want to take.
I graduated college 2017. I finished up, had my bachelor's, and it was like, okay, I'm not playing basketball.
Boys are 30, both of y'all.
Yeah,
boys are 30. I'm hanging on.
But it's like, what am I gonna do? I was working the front desk at the YMCA, and it was a downtown YMCA, so people are coming in. People are seeing Aaron Anderson at the front desk of the YMCA, and it took a huge shot at my pride.
Yeah.
It took a huge shot at who I thought I was and what I thought success was.
Was it a Y in Edmond? Like, was it in your
it was
hometown?
downtown Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So it was like from every which way, people were pulling in, seeing.
You hooped against.
I remember a friend of ours, I'm not even going to mention the name, but a friend of ours walked in and saw me at the front desk, and like as soon as he saw me, he like frowned up, his face turned, and was just like, "What are you doing?" He literally asked the question, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And it made me feel so defeated. It made me feel like I wasn't doing what the Lord had for me. But sometimes it takes those moments of like humbleness and him humbling you to get you to a point of your success, to get you to a point of, okay, I can't give you all the stuff that I have for you because you're too prideful.
Yeah.
I can't give you all of these things because you're too prideful. So let's work the front desk at the Y, and let's take some of that stuff out of you, and then I'm going to give you your desires, really.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
For sure. I mean, it's the journey.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, coming back to you, Obi, I mean, I feel like you're still kind of on your journey, right? Because you're still hooping, right? You're in like your rehabilitation, however you say that word, so you could go back overseas and play.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be a day when you're not doing that anymore. You know? And I've heard you talk to me at the gym about sports psychology, being a sports therapist and stuff like that. Can you talk a little bit about that and what got you to that point to understand that?
Yeah, man. Like I said, it started when I was having that great season. I was on a high as far as the game goes, and mentally on a low. And so it was a weird place for me to be at, man. And I had to really look at myself in the mirror and say, man, for one, sit with myself and ask myself, well, why aren't you happy? What's going on? You played well. You played well tonight. Good job. You had a great game. Well, why aren't you happy? Come home lonely, sit down it's 11:30, eating dinner and go to sleep by yourself, wake up, do it all again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Great. That was a good time. You know what I'm saying? And after you do it so many times, win, lose, or draw, it's like, well, what happens next? And so you got to find something else. And for me, my dad's a licensed therapist. My sister's a licensed therapist, and so it kind of runs in. Mom's a nurse. It just runs in the family. That help runs in the family, and I know and so that's always something. That's always where I wanted to go, and I always wanted to. My goal is to teach people, not just athletes, but teach people how to get the most out of their mind and kind of achieve what they want. A lot of people know what they want, but don't know the steps to get there.
Yeah.
And
or they think they want it.
Yeah, or they think they want it. And
and you see the steps, and it's like,
but the psyche. But then again, the psyche is a weird thing, man, because a lot of people they just don't know. You'll find out that a lot of people don't know where to go and don't know how to go. And they just need a little bit of help. They just need somebody to show them.
Yeah.
They need somebody to show them. Okay, these are your options.
Yeah.
Choose one and go with it.
It's a gift of his.
And they have. And I do think that I have.
That's a gift. Like, the Lord has given him a gift of teaching.
Yeah.
And you even, like, you said something about your parents.
Yeah.
Right? And I know his mom and I know his dad, like, personally.
Yeah.
When you go over to Obi's house, his dad is going to teach you something.
You're going to learn something.
Yeah.
You're not just going to be in there chilling.
It's going to be something learned.
You're going to think when you leave. Like,
something is going to be taught. And that has been instilled in him.
And that makes a lot of sense about you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I've had a few conversations with you, and you're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
This and this and this and this and this and this.
And learning, and just, but then, man, I'm learning, man, through through books and podcasts and other people and successful people, just learning how to cultivate that and learning how to mold that raw talent and that raw, the will. Because I do have the will, man, but there's a lot of places that I fail at in life. And I want to work on those things. And that's my goal. And as I'm working on it, I'm teaching people what I learned. And
I have a question for the both of you. I'm gonna start with Justin. When it comes to like just fulfillment in your life, right? Kind of like spinning, like what we were talking about. But when it comes to like fulfillment in your life, have you been at a point to where you got something that you wanted or you thought you wanted, right? And when you get there, it's like, because I know you have plenty of experiences just by knowing you're my best friend, but asking like when you get there, like when it's not what everything you thought it was, like, can you give me an example of that and talk about kind of how you felt and et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, man. I think for me was when I started my career, in the world. And I moved to Texas for a couple of years, and I was making six figures off rip.
Yeah.
Making money.
Yeah.
So I'm spending, I'm buying, I'm working from home. So like the money's making itself, really.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, know. but I was never happy. You know, I moved from Oklahoma to Texas. I still had the Oklahoma problems, right?
Yeah.
I still was struggling with what my self-worth was. That's why I was buying all these things,
All the
right?
stuff, yeah.
Y'all gonna know that I
got it. Yeah.
you know, and doing all these,
Yeah.
going on trips, posting it on Instagram. You know, I'm in San Francisco this weekend. Next weekend, I'm in Cancun. You know, I'm doing all that stuff, bro. But I really wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And I ended up leaving the job for a job that promised me more money.
More money.
And that was a flop.
Yeah.
But going back to the fulfillment part, me flopping and falling on my face and realizing like I defined myself through what I had. And once I got to that point, I was like, these things can be here today and gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, who am I without these things? So as I was going, and this is recent, bro. This is like within the last like 8 to 10 months
Yeah.
of my life.
Yeah.
Where I had to redefine who Justin Penny
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And I'm still defining that now, but I'm at a piece now where I know confidently if I was gone tomorrow, I know that I left an impact on some people.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about the money. It's not about buying stuff. You know, the money I was making, I should have been giving. You know, there's somebody out there that needed a shirt. There's somebody out there that needed clothes. There's somebody out there that needed food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm more so, that's fulfilling for me now.
Yeah. It's crazy how the enemy can take something that we went through in life, like earlier in our lives, like childhood trauma, and turn it to defining our own success.
It's culture too, bro.
Yeah.
It's culture too. You know
Yeah.
how many people say, I want to make 6 figures?
Yeah. Because
know?
you don't even know why. What are you going to do when you
I
get
have
it?
to go to college and then I'm going to get a good job when I go to college. And how many people go to college and don't get a good job when they graduate?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and how many people do we know that didn't go to college and are doing very well for themselves?
Exactly. My wife is one of them.
You know?
She went to college, but didn't get a degree, right? Doing very well. Like, doing very well for herself. Like, even for you, Obi, a question you now, like, how has there ever been a moment where, you know, the fulfillment of the goal that you had set, you know, didn't really meet the expectations that you thought?
I mean, I spoke about basketball and what that was like, you know, leading arguably the best league in the world and not being happy. So you guys know about that. But I think a quick comparison is, again, with money, you know, and it's hard to say because you can only say it after you've acquired money. But, you know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
like,
if you haven't been there, it's like, I still want it. Forget what they say. I
right.
want it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And not that I've just acquired so much money, but I have had a taste of what it's been like to be able to live without any worries.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, I live a life now where, you know, I drive my high school sweetheart, my 07 Chrysler 300.
Maybach.
The Maybach.
That's what we call.
He said drive his high school sweetheart. Like,
I mean, that thing got,
what?
she got 225,000 miles.
He's talking about his car. He's talking about his car.
And you know, and that's what I pull up in, you know.
Yeah.
Could have went and bought any car I wanted, but that's what I pull up in. But that's the thing is, like, now I'm able to live that life after I've been able to, after I've had a little bit of success and been able to acquire a little bit of money. But before, it was about, I want to go buy all the Louis Vuitton and the Balenciaga, and I want the money so I can go buy the cars. But then I got the money, and I'm like, well, you know, it's not that cool.
Exactly.
You know, it's fun, and but here's the thing: is, don't get me wrong, love money, and I think that, you know, the chase for money is real because there's things that you can, the opportunity provides you to help others. You know, having more money provides you the opportunity to help others.
I mean, it even talks about that in the word.
Yeah, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna say.
You're definitely not saying don't go for your passions and your dreams.
I won't. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that there is a sense of when you want everything, you're wanting all the designer things to fit in with the society.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is, you know, everybody's doing these. Everybody is Instagram models and Instagram famous and not really doing anything in real life, but they're making us feel like they're. You know, we're seeing the highlights of their life, and we're like, man, I want that.
Exactly.
I want to live that life. You don't want that life. People look at me, and, you know, I had a little kid the other day that said, man, he was talking to his mom. It's like, man, Obi is, you know, he's his ACL, he's so much further along. I'm losing self-confidence. I'm like, dude, you don't know what I've been through.
Yeah.
Fam, you don't want,
how many ACLs have you had actually?
I've had 2 ACLs. I've had 5 total surgeries. So ACL,
On your knee.
On knees.
ACL, bilateral fasciotomy on both legs. I was in a wheelchair.
Bilateral, Buddha,
Had
bottom.
torn labrum twice. Torn my labrum
Everything
twice.
been tore up.
You know what I'm saying? You don't look at me and say that
You want
Obi is
that.
this and that.
God is
Don't
good, bro.
you know?
That's crazy.
You wouldn't know that about him, though.
No.
But
Yeah.
that's what people see, and it's not like I show my journeys. I talk about my journey all the time and all my injuries. But for somebody who doesn't know me, you look at me and you're like, man, if you know what I've been through with these injuries and all that stuff, bro, you wouldn't want this.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't even want
You don't
to
want
smoke.
this,
Yeah.
man. It took everything, and you had to give up everything. You don't want this,
Right.
You want to live and enjoy your life, man.
Even-
Go live and enjoy your
Like
life.
taking losses like that, man, just like on the journey, you know,
Yeah.
we talk about the losses, Justin, Obi, like we talk about those things. Like, what have you learned? What can you give the people of God that are watching, that are wondering, like, okay, like we talked about it, but like, what have you along the way, Justin, like what have you learned that you've instilled into your life now? Because you said it was 8-10 months ago, and like you're still in like this like area where it's like I'm still learning, but you have some things.
Yeah.
People see that you're changing.
Yeah.
And like, what have you learned in this time that can help somebody else?
It's not always as it seems. You know, like you mentioned the social media influencers and all that. You know, you can get on Instagram and you can see all kinds of stuff that you can compare yourself to.
Anything, yeah.
You're going to always feel like you're behind no matter what you're doing in life or what you're making, whatever the case may be. If you get on that social media, you're going to see that, you know. So comparison is the thief of joy, right? So that's the biggest lesson for me. You know, you get on Instagram and you see this YouTuber posing in front of a Lamborghini, right? And it looks like, man, he is making some money. This 19-year-old kid's driving a Lambo. We don't know that he rented that for the day,
Yeah.
took a photo in front of it,
Yeah. And turn it back
got
in.
the fit right, all that, posted it, and then returned it the next day. And we're looking at these things and comparing ourselves. You
Yeah.
know, I felt like I had to be further along than where I'm at, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thing to tell people is to always, you know, strive for more, always strive to become a better version of yourself, but where you're at is where you're supposed to be.
That's good. Obi, what about you, man? Along the journey of not only professional basketball, but college basketball, growing up around, you know, the people that you have had as a community, even in the past couple of years since you've been home, you know, Obi has faced injury. We talked about that. What can you give somebody that you've learned? And you know what? I wanna talk about this last 2 years, really. What have you experienced and what can you give somebody that you've learned that you just didn't know before that?
That, and I also want to say, second to that, but I also want to say there's people that probably want to be in your shoes.
Yeah.
You know, there's people that are looking at you. There's probably people that look up to you that you don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
You know, so the second what Aaron said, you know, what do you give these people that are looking up to you or watching you or want to be a professional athlete, things of that nature? What's something that you can say?
What I would say is that I didn't do anything special. You could be exactly where I am. You just got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the sum of your daily habits.
Yeah.
Whatever you do on a daily basis, your habits is going to be the person that you are down the line, right? So the person I am right now is a reflection of what I've done the last month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. That's the person you're looking at right now. And in the next 3-4 months, you'll probably be looking at a different person because I will have upped the things that I have been doing to get to the next level.
Yeah.
So my point is that wherever you are right now, it can change like that. You just have to change. You have to change it,
You have to
right? So
change,
whatever
yeah.
it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you're trying to cultivate, whatever success is in your life, you can have it. You just got to put in the daily actions to get there. I
Right.
didn't do anything special. I've had all these injuries. I just showed up.
Consistency.
I showed up and did it. I showed up and did the thing that I said I was going to do. every single day, and you don't want this life because you don't want to sacrifice that every day. You don't want
Consistency,
to.
repetition.
You know what I'm saying? You want to go and take a vacation and go relax and go spend your money on new cars, and that's what you want.
And that's cool.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's what you want.
It's what you want.
Yeah.
But if you want this, it's going to cost you something else.
Right.
Right. And it's costed me a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the road that I chose. And whatever road that you're choosing, I'm okay. You know, be okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have anything to say about that. But
as you think about how many seasons that you've spent overseas with this success, with this want that everybody has, right?
Yeah.
And the sacrifice, like the amount of sacrifice Obi has had through the seasons of being overseas. There's countless of phone calls where we just sit on FaceTime and we just sitting there.
Bruh.
I'm just sitting there with my bro.
Yeah.
It's like,
Bruh.
man, keep Christmas, birthdays, Thanksgivings, just other holiday, all that stuff that you've had to overcome, and that's a sacrifice.
What's today? May 1st? My birthday was 2 days ago. What did I do for my birthday? I did the same thing I did today, is what I did. You know what I'm saying? That's what I did
Train
for my
the kid.
birthday. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I woke up.
Worked out.
I woke up, did my meditation stuff, worked a little bit, went to the gym, came home, worked some more, went to train. I did the same thing I did. People, happy birthday, thank you. You know, what are you doing? The same thing I did yesterday? Because that's what it takes.
Yeah.
And that's the sacrifice that it takes. And if you're not okay with that, then you can't come and do this sacrifice. You got to go do something else, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
But if you're okay with it, that's what it takes. And but then doing that gives you a sense of like embracing it. It's like, okay, I'm choosing to do this.
Yeah.
Right? I'm happy doing this.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, you're sad. No, I'm not sad. I wasn't sad on my birthday. I'm not sad on. I mean, maybe it's a little bit sad. You know what I'm saying? Naturally sad, but it's like the equivalent of like loving a sprint. Like I'm loving it because I know that that's what's going to get me to what I need to do. Right?
Yeah. We're not running because I hate you. We're running.
Yeah.
You
because
too,
we gotta
Aaron.
get in shape. Yeah.
You too.
What necessarily have I learned on my journey?
Deuce, I like that.
Yeah,
You give him that nickname? Deuce.
Yeah, they called
He
me
said
Deuces.
Deuce to me a couple of times, and I was like, I don't even know who
Obi
Deuce
and AY, Aaron Young are the only two that.
it's an Edmund thing. I can't.
It's you
You
know,
can hop in there.
It started in college. It started. Let me tell you how it started. I'm gonna tell you how it
Nah,
started.
don't do that.
All right.
No, I'm playing. You go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you how it started.
Yeah,
We had a couple Aarons on the team, right?
Aaron Young. And
Aaron Young
Anderson.
and Aaron Anderson.
Yeah.
And one day he comes in. Were you number 2 at that point?
I was number 2.
He was number 2. He's like, man, and his name is Aaron Anderson, double A.
I mean, it makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, we didn't see it at the time, and he saw it early.
Yeah.
He's always had that gift. He saw it early. He was like, man, y'all got to start calling me Deuce. He's like, I'm not answering unless y'all call me Deuce.
I wouldn't even
you
look
call
at
me
him.
Aaron, I won't even look up. And so we just started calling him Deuce. We had the coaches
Deuce.
calling him Deuce. Everybody calling him Deuce.
Coaches would say Aaron, I'd be like,
Deuce.
And it made it easy though, because these are my brothers, and it's like Aaron. Both of
us looking.
You know how many
Oh, that makes
That's why I
sense.
got
you know
mad
how many
about it.
times
That
it's
makes
like
sense.
Aaron. Everybody's looking. It's like
Yeah.
we go meet somebody. Hi, my name's Aaron. Hi, my name's Aaron. They ask me what's your name. Oh, well, my name's Aaron too. We just all be Aaron. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is.
That's how it would be. Yeah.
So then he got the name Deuce, and that ain't a harder name
Deuce
than the
Bello.
name Deuce.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Hey.
saying?
I didn't mean to throw it off track because obviously I want to hear what you
No,
have
no,
to
no,
say.
no,
but
no.
I heard him call you
No,
Deuce
yeah,
like
go ahead.
6
No, you're
times,
good.
bro.
But even
My mom call him Deuce.
Yeah, it gave me a look. She does actually.
My mama call him Deuce.
It's like, what is Deuce doing? I don't know why I just trashed your
Yeah, I
mom
don't
like
know why
that.
he
It's
did that.
crazy.
She got an English
Sorry, Ma
accent,
Dukes.
so-
I love you. But I would say the massive change that I've made in the past 2 years in my life, what I can give somebody that I've learned is lean not on your own understanding. For me, I was trying to understand every single part of my life, like everything that was going on for me. I was trying to make shift it on my own. I was trying to manifest the finances on my own. And it was for me, it was just more so like when I got fired, right? When I fell, it was like, I can't lean on what I know no more. I have to lean on what the Lord is telling me to do. And ever since I've started walking in what the Lord has told me to do, I have, and it sounds simple, right? It's not simple at all. Like, it takes a lot of sacrifice. But ever since I've started walking in what the Lord has given me, literally given me the gift of basketball and training kids and ministering to kids and having these teams and doing everything that I'm doing, it's so much more peaceful, man.
Yeah.
It's so much more gratifying, like doing this rather than waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning and going to do this other job and manufacturing this life that I wanted people to glorify in a way.
Yeah.
Rather than taking the glory for myself, I give it to the Lord, and I humble myself before the Lord. That's truly the biggest thing that had to be stripped from me was my pride. And understanding that it's not even about you, bro. Like, none of this is about you.
It's not that deep, bro.
I don't know who I feel like somebody's gonna watch this and they're gonna really be on this right here. It's not about you. It's never been about you. It's about what God wants to do through you. Yes, He wants to use you. Yes, He wants to get to people through you. And yes, you're gonna become this person because of it. But it's not about you. At the end of the day, it's about what God wants to do and who He wants to save through you. So
beyond boundaries.
Yeah.
But I guess to summarize this whole conversation up, you're gonna, if you want to get to where you want to go, you're gonna have to make sacrifices. Mm-hmm. Y'all help me out if I'm missing something.
No, you gotta make sacrifices. Success is different for everybody.
Success is different for
everyone. The common denominator is happiness.
Yeah.
Right. What else was there, man?
And to keep your mental health first,
Mm-hmm.
that's the big thing for sure. And do not define yourself by anything.
Yeah.
Define yourself from what's in here, not out here.
Yeah.
And Obi, bro, we appreciate you for
hopping
on,
Shout out to 1 by 1.
Yes,
It's
sir.
crazy
Shout out to 1 by 1. We'll put the link in the description.
that I didn't wear no 1 by 1 stuff.
That's all right.
That's crazy. That's really
all
crazy
right.
that you didn't. I wore the hat on purpose because
I know you do.
I was like,
tripping. I thought I had a hat in the car. I was tripping, bro.
I was like, Aaron, he the model for 1 by 1.
Hey,
The owner of the brand. I'll call self-proclaimed ambassador now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Welcome to the team. Look,
My brother.
welcome to the team.
Appreciate y'all viewing. Make sure y'all comment, like, subscribe, follow the socials, and we'll see y'all for episode 3.
I've been feeling these flows, the only thing I control. And writing these wrongs, the only way to expose the innermost parts of my being, infinitely composed. Rearranging this harmony that resides in your soul. Vibrations is volatile and needed some solitude. She say she was solid without me, thought we was rockin' smooth. Hit me like latitude, feel like Rocky with Shawty up on my side. No artist ringing his doubt as I'm shadow boxing with pride. I feel loving again, cause I gotta feel you. They say that only time that God can heal you. Pray that spirit fill you and help you trust again. Instead, I'm slipping, falling in lust again. It's never ending. So tell me, will I ever be satisfied? Will I ever be whole? These missing pieces, I break them down to be quantified. To compare to a version of me that's old, I don't know. Yeah. Look, say honestly, I don't know. Guess what? I'm back in the building. It needed some healing. I'm lost, I admit it, amazed me. Ain't no peace when your vision is hazy. Look, I talked to God, told him flip it 180. The acrobatics that I witnessed was simply amazing. Cause my effort's been lazy. I've been lacking esteem. Cause reality don't look like what I saw in that dream. Or what was prophesied, or the courage it took to believe. But I start to encourage myself. These blessings been itemized. You were nothing to idolize. Death all around me, but I will fear no evil. I live backwards to heal my people and break the mold. It's crazy how impressions from life can leave you disclosed. And I'm open as ever flies. Propellers, John Cena, that Helen Keller still can't see me, feel me, or walk a mile in my shoes. No blueprint, but I'm Sherlock in the clues. I can paint a vivid picture while bird boxing with heels and give them hooks so cold they'll dread like in the door. Word. Look, I could paint a vivid picture while bird boxing with heels and give them hooks so cold they'll dread like me. Father, take these impressions from me. I'm not impressed by the word, I'm learning these lessons slowly. But you've been pressing on me, removing this mess that's on me. You turn my mess to a message and now these blessings flowing. Don't take your presence from me, Lord, take these impressions from me. I'm not impressed by the word, I'm learning these lessons slowly. But you've been pressing on me, removing this mess that's on me. You turn my mess to a message and now these blessings flowing. Don't take your presence from me, from me, from me, from me. Don't take your presence from me, from me, from me, from me. Yeah. Don't take your presence from me, from me, from me, from me. Don't take your presence from me, yeah. Don't take your presence, I'm fighting depression in my election. I'm struggling to find out the reason you chose me. Why I can't do what they doing, talk like they talking, walk like they walking, but somehow I'm still here like you was me. Why I feel bound by the truth and being aware, and why I feel free in my sin that leaves me impaired. I need my mind changed. I made decisions that left a mark on my mind frame, and now I'm trying to erase the damage. It's getting so hard to manage, I'm feeling reckless. Please turn my test to my testimony mess to a message. Change my perspective, I need resurrection. Help me see me how you see me, made in your perfection. Cause you don't start a thing with no intention, don't perfect it. I took a step and you're more than every step in direction. I felt discouraged but looked back and saw the impressions. Yeah. You masterpiece on this masterpiece. I took a look at the canvas and saw your fingerprints in the impressions. Father, take these impressions from me. I'm not impressed by the word, I'm learning these lessons slowly. But you've been pressing on me, removing this mess that's on me. You turn my mess to a message and now these blessings flowing. Don't take your presence from me, Lord, take these impressions from me. I'm not impressed by the word, I'm learning these lessons slowly. But you've been pressing on me, removing this mess that's on me. You turn my mess to a message and now these blessings flowing. Don't take your presence from me, from me, from me, from me. Don't take your presence from me, from me, from me, from me. Yeah. Don't take your presence from me, from me.